Welcome to your weekly focus for February the 13th through to the 19th, 2017. My name is Tilly, and this is Tarot with Tilly. And before we begin, thank you. Thank you truly for all of the love, the positive, supportive energy you send my way each and every day. Now, let's see what the energy will be for us this week. Wheel of Fortune. A very fitting card because we are in the full moon energy, right? The release, the let go, the healing, the closing of doors so that we can make room for new things in our life. The Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is asking us to bring in balance. Yes, it is paths of abundance, abundance that can be had in many areas of our life. But if we are giving too much energy, too much time to one area of our life, other areas will suffer. So if you are constantly at work, putting in the overtime, giving it your all because you want that promotion, you want that raise, you want the experience so that you can step into that promotion, that raise. You want to be noticed in some way, get recognized in some way. So you are putting in that time, that energy, and if you constantly do that over and over again, what happens? Your health starts to diminish because you're not paying attention to when you're eating, when you're sleeping, when you are taking time for yourself, when you are getting some exercise. Your home life becomes strained because you're not there. You're at work. Your spirituality, you're not taking the time to do a meditation process or grounding yourself, or at least a small time of reflection because you're working so hard, you're exhausted, you're not even thinking about that. So this is where we have to understand where we are putting too much energy in one part of our life and not enough energy in one part of our life, or maybe several, and bringing in the balance so that we can have abundance in all areas of our life, not just in one small, we want to take off the blinders in our life here. We want to see what needs attention, what needs focus, what needs to go on the priority list, and where we need to let go, where we need to release, where we need to close that door. We have the Empress. She's starting to become the icon here. So she is talking about stepping into creative new paths, births, beginnings, starts. This could be in relationships. This could be in career. This could be in your own well-being and health, your spirituality, your stature within the home, the community, the world at large. Where do you want to start your new path? Where can you apply your creativity, your know-how, your skill set to step into new journeys, new adventures, new relationships, new partnerships? And we have Judgment. So Judgment is very much a card that is reminding us to stay grounded, to not, buy into rumors, to not start rumors. Absolutely not. But if we hear something and it bothers us in some way, or it intrigues us in some way, we need to investigate. We need to research. We need to ask those validating questions so that when we say yes to something, when we say no to something this week, it's strong. We don't have to look back on it because we made that choice, that decision with good judgment. We knew very well what we were getting into or what we were saying no to. So we don't want to fly off the handle. We don't want to sabotage a part of our life by something we overheard or something that, was a suspicion, but it wasn't grounded in any actual fact, evidence. There's the Page of Cups, so our spirituality, the veil is so thin. This is a beautiful week for meditation, for prayer, for reflection, for unplugging yourself from the busyness of life and giving some time to quiet, stillness, silence, to communicate with God, your angels, your spirit guides. the universe, source. To give up your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations. And also to give up the things that are holding you back, the things you fear, the things that have chaos or create chaos in your life. And allow the answers to come. Now, this could also be where we team up with a mentor, or we, depending on our path in life, we could become the mentor for somebody else and imparting our wisdom. This is learning new things, educating ourselves through another. Nine of Cups, it's all about our dreams, our desires. Remember, I think on the 26th, right around there, 26th, 27th, is the solar eclipse, the new moon, when we plant our seeds. So this is a beautiful time to look at what we truly want in our lives. Is it peace of mind? Is it abundance? Is it love? Is it health, well-being? Is it something sparkly and grand? Is it a trip? Is it more money? Is it that raise in pay? Is it that promotion at work? Is it that new job? Is it joining an organization and making a difference? Creating an organization from the ground up? Where is there, where do you want to have self-sacrifice in your life? Because we do sacrifice ourselves all the time. Whether or not we are conscious of it is a whole different story, right? So we want to understand where we are putting our energy, where we are putting our focus, what's on the priority list, and is it us? This is a beautiful time to start doing your new moon affirmations. This is a beautiful time to start thinking about the seeds that you want to plant. And don't worry about how it's going to show up in your life, how it's all going to come together. Leave that to God, your angels, your spirit guides, the universe, and source. Just know that you want it. Just feel the emotion of it. Just step into what it will feel like when you hit that goal, when you reach that mark, when you manifest that dream. How big is the smile on your face? Who surrounds you? What surrounds you? What does it look like? How do you feel inside? Do you feel the laughter? Is your breath starting to get deepened? We don't have that shallow breathing because we're anxious, we're nervous, we're unrestful. Don't worry about how it's all going to come together. Just state that you want it. And then feel the emotion, feel the heart center of how it feels like when you actually reach that. Because yes, our words are a vibration, but our emotion is a much stronger vibration. And when we put those two together, you can move mountains. We have the Seven of Swords, the King of Wands. Well, the Seven of Swords, we really want to make sure that we are taking with us what we need to take with us and leaving behind what we need to leave behind. The King of Wands is more of this optimistic, wanting to learn, coming up with new ideas, new approaches, new ways of doing things. So what we are packing in our toolkits here in order to go forward may not necessarily be something that we have always deemed as practical or we needed. It could be something completely different. So I'm almost getting this, get back to the basics. It's almost like we're taking that toolkit that we have and we're emptying it out on the ground. We're shaking it upside down. We're making sure nothing remains. And then we are putting back into our toolkit exactly what we need in order to go forward. And what do we need to add? Because the King of Wands is always looking to educate, to raise the knowledge. So maybe it is honing an ability. Maybe it is getting better at a skill. Becoming the master in a skill. And that starts one step at a time. Nobody started out in life being a long distance runner. We all crawled, then we all walked, and we all fell many times. And had we had the knowledge that, oops, I fell down, I failed, I made a mistake, we never would have got back up and tried again. It was by our perseverance, it was by our persistence, because everybody else was walking around us. Of course it's possible. And so we have to start believing in ourselves a little bit more that it is possible. And so one of the ways of doing that is by raising your knowledge base, practicing a skill, reaching out to other people, allowing other people into our lives that will help us to grow, help us to succeed in some way. So we're really looking at that toolkit and what we're putting into it. And it has to be for our higher good. It has to strengthen us. It has to empower us. And if it doesn't, it can't go in the toolkit. The moon. This is really looking inside. This is really understanding. Now we do have the sun going into Pisces, right? So that is all about unacknowledged and repressed parts of ourselves, that we become more aware and definitely more spiritually aware. We look at the service to others, the service to ourselves. This is about loving yourself. This is about forgiving yourself for something, allowing something about yourself. Stop trying to change yourself to fit in with society, but rather take that uniqueness and run with it. This is very much about work or what defines you, okay? Because not everybody is in a job or even looking for a job. But what defines you? If I were to meet you at a party and I said, so what do you do? What would you tell me back? What defines you? And it's about finding joy and happiness in what defines you. So write down what you love, what brings out happiness, what brings joy into your life. And then ask yourself how to bring those things in. So this is definitely taking time for ourselves this week and loving ourselves and surrounding ourselves by the people and the things that we love in life. This one's in the relationship sector, so I would have to say that we can't get, this is crying over spilt milk. Okay, and I go to Tony Robbins because he's great when it comes to all kinds of advice, but relationship advice. And so he has the story that he usually says in many of his speeches about when you're first together and your partner says, could you take out the garbage? And of course I'll take out the garbage. And you skip to the curb with the garbage bag. And then about 6 months later, your partner says, could you take out the garbage? And you turn around and you say, what do I look like? Your janitor? We start to get hung up on the little things rather than looking at the big picture, looking at pleasing each other, looking at the happiness that we can grow, the positivity we can bring into the relationship, the strength that we can build on each and every day. And we start to look at the little things that bother us. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's usually the things that attracted you to that person that bothered you a couple of years down the road. Because it is a part of us that we see, that we want to step into, that we want to be like. Maybe we are quiet and shy and reserved, and they're so outgoing, and they have so many friends, and I kind of want that, and I like them, and all of a sudden, a year later, you're always out with your friends. So look at how you can build into that relationship a little bit stronger. Become the person you want to be, rather than blaming the other person in some way for not being that, for not being allowed to step into that. You're making the decision, you're making the choice not to step into it. And look at the reasons that you love that person. And if something goes wrong, you know what? If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it really, really does not matter. How often I hear through people that they don't even remember what the real fight was about, but this came out, and how dare they? We don't even remember the reason why sometimes. So we really have to understand if it's worth our energy. Now, they don't take the garbage out for 5 years, it could present a really huge problem in your life. But if it's a one-off, or maybe you could do the garbage once in a while and do more of a teamwork. Temperance. Temperance is the spirituality card this week. By being grounded through our spirituality, whatever that may mean for you. It may be embracing yourself, embracing who you are. It could be embracing God, your angels, your spirit guides, the universe, source, reaching out, understanding that they do bring in a balance into your life. They will answer your prayers, your wishes, your hopes, your dreams, your desires. But you have to have a belief there too in order for that to happen. Because it's your energy that brings it in. This is being very grounded in who we are, in our values, by not being swayed in one way or another. Okay, so, I almost get like bad habits, things that could be destructive in your life, whether you are trying to overcome gambling or overeating or drugs or alcohol. That this could be a time where you really have to be conscious of your values, of what you are working towards. That it might not be the easiest time. And so prayer, meditation may help tremendously here in grounding yourself in that in order to get over those hurdles. How many people I talk to, I don't mean to pick on the smokers again, but I was a smoker, so I can relate so well. Smoker for like 35 years. But you quit and you're all proud of yourself, and 3 years down the road, you hit chaos in your life, you hit a stressful moment in your life, and you're like, give me a cigarette. And then you've just started all over again. We think that we can control that one because of the situation, rather than saying, no, I quit for a reason and I'm going to stay that way. I can find my strength in another way. I don't need to smoke. I'll do some deep breathing. For any of you trying to get, now the nicotine part is a problem, but a lot of it is that deep breath, that deep breathing, that break. Okay, people use smoking quite often as a break from, to calm themselves. And deep breathing will do the same thing. So pretend that you are taking an inhale off a cigarette and deep breathe in and hold it and exhale. And do that for a couple of minutes. And most times that will get you over that little hump that you needed to regain your values of why you are doing what you are doing, for a healthier lifestyle, for whatever the reason may be. Drinking, gambling, overeating, shopping, I can go on and on with the things that we do that are self-destructive to ourselves because they give us that moment of feeling good, that moment of escaping from the chaos or the stress or the unrest that we have in our life. So this is a card to say that this week we really need to stay grounded. Health and well-being is the High Priestess. Well, you know, if you need a miracle, this is a week to pray, to ask for that miracle. You always have to do the work. You always have to do the action. But I think there is a lot of strength here in miracles coming in for our health, for our well-being. So this could come in so many ways. You know, if you were saying, oh, I'm overweight and I really need to exercise more, but I don't know anybody else and I don't want to do it by myself, or maybe you're a procrastinator and by the time you get to do it, it's too late to do anyways, and so you put it off for the next day and you start the cycle all over again. And maybe all of a sudden a friend phones or you bump into somebody who wants to do the exact same thing and you partner with them. And there is the miracle, because now you can have that perseverance, now that you can have that discipline, because you know you have to answer not only to yourself but to somebody else and their schedule and their timelines. So miracles doesn't mean sometimes that it just all of a sudden is gone. There is work to do. There are people to meet. There are situations to step into. But the miracles are much more likely this week. This is also feeling good about ourselves, championing ourselves, feeling that strength, feeling that self-confidence, having that awareness of who we are and what we can do. And she is a spiritual magic. Let's go to our Journey of Love cards, because it is Valentine's Day week. So now, Journey of Love, yes, we look towards others to love. That special somebody or somebody's in our life, whether it's family, friends, a lover. But we also need to embrace the beauty of who we are and love ourselves. Let's move that back out of the way. Let the feminine lead the way, 39. So 39, so that is 42, which is a 6, which is the parental love. That is the caring, the nurturing. I love the colors in this one. And look at, we are dancing. We are dancing to the moon. Let the feminine lead the way. 39. Let's see what that card has to tell us. So the poem, my coming out is the freedom to fully be who I am and the surrender to the divine essence, expressing through and around me. My coming out is the marriage of twin souls with my life partner, in gratitude, in love, unfolding as more than we ever could be on our own. So my coming out is the freedom to feel who I truly am. And my coming out is the marriage of twin souls with my life partner, in gratitude and in love. The feminine principle in you, whether man or woman, is the way forward in your life now. She is the principle of feeling and of surrender. She feels the intelligence of the divine guiding light in a way that the masculine principle cannot at this time. You may not see where you are going, therefore, but you can feel your way forward. Trust her. Let your mind go and let your senses lead you, becoming more exquisite and communicative. Be led by your heart. Don't worry if you don't know all the details yet or how it's going to work out. She knows the way. Let her lead. This oracle brings confirmation to you that what you have been feeling or sensing, even without any logical physical evidence, is worth following up on. Trust your senses over appearances. Trust your intuition over your intellect. You are letting feminine wisdom guide you, and she will steer you in the best direction. So go with the flow. If you feel something, investigate it. Recognize the empowerment inside of you. See what our wise animals have to tell us. So I think this week is a very strong week. We want to do affirmations. And we're also looking at closing the doors, aren't we? Is that not our first card? To let go. So more towards the beginning of the week, I think we will be looking at what doors need to be closed in our life in order to let that new energy in. I kind of mixed up the cards here, but we need the balance in our life. We need to understand where our focus needs to be. Realign ourselves with the priorities in our life. To have a balanced path forward, not one where we feel we are weighed down or we're always trying to put out fires in one area of our life because we're trying to focus on the other area of our life. And because of that, the fires keep starting in other parts of our life. We need to get grounded to the point of understanding where we are putting our attention, where we are putting our focus, and where does it need to be. We have some very beautiful spiritual cards this week. So, write down a mission statement about yourself or a mantra to say every day. Start saying a few affirmations, and yes, be very grateful for what you do have. Stop looking at the little details and flaws in life this week. They're not going to get you anywhere. It's crying over spilt milk this week. This week is a week to look at the big picture, to the beauty, creating love, laughter in our life. Understanding our own empowerment and working on that empowerment to grow it stronger. Deep rest. The little mouse in a hammock. He is quite a popular card since I've got this deck, actually. Lazy sleep, rest, and meditate. Rest is not idleness, and to lie sometimes on the grass under the tree on a summer's day, listening to the murmur of water or watching the clouds float across the sky is by no means a waste of time. Mouse says it's time for you to make time for laziness. You don't have to be constantly on the go. After all, that's how you become run down. Spend a little time each day or week doing something that you enjoy that is completely frivolous and fun. It could be just an afternoon, and you know what? That temperance card in our spirituality may be just that. We need to take time for ourselves to bring in the happiness and the joy and the laughter, and stop going. Stop trying to push ourselves so far forward. It will happen in its own divine time. Do not worry about how you are getting there, when you are getting there. Take time out for you. Now I see the little hamster running on the wheel. We've got to get off that wheel sometimes. And each and every day would be a good way of doing that. It could be just an afternoon laying in the hammock, reading a book, watching your old favorite movie, or playing with kids. This is not a time to begin anything new. It is a time for restoring your spirit. Because remember, our first card was the Wheel of Fortune. The first card was about closing those doors so that we can open the new doors in our life. Sometimes rest doesn't necessarily have to be sleeping, it's just quieting your mind. Take some time grounding yourself by taking a yoga class, gardening, fishing, spending time in nature. Spend at least 10 minutes a day meditating or just being in the moment. You don't have to physically be at your happy place to go to your happy place. It can simply be with your mind. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. And you know what? 10 minutes a day, well, that would be wonderful. But most of us never make that whole 10 minutes. Okay, so yes, I mean the formal is absolutely awesome. Okay, we light the candles, we dim the lights, we get into a very comfortable position. We start some deep breathing. We make it very formal. But remember that God, your angels, your spirit guides, source, the universe is always at our side, always listening. So while you're brushing your teeth, if you're doing the affirmations in your mind or doing a prayer of gratitude while you're brushing your teeth, it works. They hear it. Yeah, they like formal too. We like formal too. We like getting all dressed up and going out on the night on the town and having some fun. And of course we like formal. But you know what? There's a lot of beauty in just the casual too. You're driving to work and you have 2 or 3 minutes, then say a small prayer or an affirmation or two. Have a conversation as you're driving down the road with your spirit guide, with your angels, with God, the universe source. Talking about your plans. Now, the secret to that is every so often tap the steering wheel. Otherwise, it looks like you're talking to yourself. Although in this day and age, with our cell phones being connected to our phone, we can talk, into the air and everything's heard. It's a little bit more accepted now, but still, I tap the steering wheel every so often so they think you're singing to a song rather than just talking to yourself out loud in the car. Look for ways. Look for ways to work prayer, meditation, quiet, stillness into your life. Look for ways of stepping into the things that you enjoy doing, because that raises your vibration, that raises your happiness, your joy, and it puts you into a positive frame of mind, which allows more positive to find you going forward. So until we meet again, remember, I do love you.